forever unto the end of ages. Amen. We'll continue our journey talking about the different vestments we see in church and what do the vestments mean. So we started with the tunic, the tonia of the deacon. We'll talk about the badrashin, the what we call this. It's called in English the stole, stole. Then we talked about talasana, the crown for the priest, and we talked about the sadra. This is what the ephod or that the priest wears. Now we talk about one more vestment that also the priest wears, and this is called the cape or the burnous. Hold this. This is the burnous here. I'm sure you have seen it before, and this is the outer garment that goes on top of everything. Goes on top of everything. It's a very colorful cloth. Has a cross on the back, it's crosses on the front, and it covers everything. This burnous or this cape is a reminder how the grace of God, really priesthood is a grace from Abuna Daniel talked about priesthood. It's really a gift from God, and St. Paul in the his epistle to the Romans, chapter 13, talks about, but put on the Lord Christ and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill it. Put on Christ. The image, or that I put something on, or putting Christ on to cover everything. To cover everything. No matter how good the person can be, we still are deficient. It's only through the grace of God. It's only through grace of God that covers all our inadequacies. And when Abuna wears this, especially like in very important occasions, this is like the most formal piece of clergy attire, and that's why sometimes you see it in very formal occasions. Abuna wears this on the day, if you know, if some of the older ones may have you seen a new priest come to church. So the church receives Abuna, the new priest who was just ordained, when he was coming and wearing his full attire. Abuna also wears this when also, maybe you can help me out, the deacons. I'm sure you notice Abuna wearing the burnous cape. When does Abuna wear it, other than when he comes for the first time into church? When? Easter? Huh? And Christmas? Theophany? So the three major feasts, we have 7 major feasts, but out of the 7, there are 3 big ones that we celebrate at night. There's only 3 we celebrate at night. We find Abuna entering the church wearing the burnous, wearing the cape. What else? Okay. There's other occasions too. Sometimes we'll find Abuna wearing them, especially on Good Friday, at the time when Abuna raises incense before the Salabot. Abuna puts on, this is according to the books of rites, he puts on their capes, their burnous, and uncover their head as a sign of respect, that we are, it's through the grace of the cross we are covered, so that covers us all, and we, out of humility, we offer incense to the picture of the crucifixion. It happens several times on Good Friday. Also, at the end of the service, we put on the cape at the end of the service as well, during the burial service. So these are the very focal or very critical services. We'll find Abuna wearing the burnous in them. Okay, somebody said weddings. Okay, actually we used the same burnous in wedding, but not for Abuna. And this I was planning to talk about this as well. You'll find if you go to any wedding, we're not going to have weddings for a while because of the upcoming Lent. But hopefully in the spring, when after Easter, if you attend the wedding, you'll notice Abuna uses that the same burnous that he wears to put on who gets to wear it? the groom, the bridegroom. العريس gets to wear the burnus of Abuna. And every time I put this on the bridegroom, I tell him, remember, this is the priesthood cloth. This is the clothing of priesthood. You are now become the priest of the house. Priest of the house means a servant of the house. Remember, the church is not a building. The Church of St. Mark is not the building of the church building is located 427 West Side Avenue, but really the Church of St. Mark is comprised of little churches. Everywhere, every household is a church in its own right. So when we have a church in every household, that means there is a priest in every church. And here the role of the husband, the father, that he is the priest of the church. He is the spiritual leader of the church. He is spiritual servant of the church, ministers, and make sure that services prayer services, Bible study services are held at the right time. Of course, we all share together, but it's his responsibility. The baby. Oh yeah. Sometimes that's a very nice, interesting comment. But let me get to that. But let me finish this. Also, the church designed like a mini cape for the bride. Also wears the whole idea of that we're putting on Christ. We're putting on a grace. It's something gift from above that covers all our inadequacies in priesthood, whether marriage and other things. One of our deacons noticed something that we'll find newly baptized boys wearing little small capes as well, small burnuses. Of course, this is not a liturgical vestment per se, actually, but it's like the parents saying, "I wish this young boy turns out to be a servant of God, like a priest." And sometimes they go a little bit too crazy. Sometimes they get like a bishop, or sometimes they have these very fancy small vestments. They're very cute and everything, although very uncomfortable for the babies. But they are. It's a good blessing that Hannah, when she had Samuel, she dedicated him to the Lord. And I wish that every father or mother would dedicate their child to the Lord. Not in the same way that, okay, they're going to ship him, now you're going to live in church and you're not live at home anymore. No, but that was the style of dedication back then. But at least we want to dedicate our children to the Lord by raising them up in a godly way, by making sure they are deeply rooted in the church, by making sure that they love the church, they love the Bible, their prayers, their agbeya. And maybe one day, the priesthood, as Abuna Daniel is talking about, it's a calling from God. One day, somebody is called to be a priest, somebody called to be consecrated deacon, somebody called to be a monk, somebody is called to be a nun. It's a calling from God. So, all these vestments remind us, again, if you want to go summarize today, about this is the grace of God. Put on the grace of Christ. Put on Christ. Our problem sometimes is we come here to church and we get this spiritual boost and so forth, and when I step outside, I take off that blessing I have, and I become a different person. I use different language and think different way and behave in a certain way. I become altogether a different person. And then when I come to church again, I put on that holy. Tomorrow's gospel about fasting, prayer, and giving alms says, it's not about what people see, but about what your Father in heaven sees. About what your Father in heaven sees. Let us just not get hung up on the outside. Let's worry about the inside. Let's take care of the inside. You put on Christ on the outside, but more importantly, putting Christ on the outside, you put on Christ on the inside. I was just at a retreat, and I was telling the girls that about Saint Veronica. What did Saint Veronica do? One of the girls should know what Saint Veronica did. Yes. Yes, she was wiping his face. What happened to the handkerchief? Her face, it was imprinted on the. So I was asking all of them, why don't you be a Veronica? Why don't you get the image of Christ imprinted, not on a piece of cloth, but inside your heart. Put on the image of Christ and keep it inside you. So whatever grace from God we get, we put on and we keep inside. So that it's not something we put on and put off, put on, put off. It's something we really can keep for a long time. So now we have talked about the keep and what it means. Next time, Lord willing, we'll talk about another vestment. And to be... Huh? Yeah, we should put all those God in our hearts. By the grace of God, we'll continue our journey in church vestment. To be God be the glory now and forever unto the end of ages. Amen.